So, have you ever been on a stability ball before?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Okay, I want everyone to notice that our hands are on the ball. We're going to talk about that later.
All right, we want your shoulders on the ball. There you go. Go out just a little bit farther.
Have we noticed
there you go.
that the ball is way too big for Justina?
Make sure your legs are good here. Hold on the bridge, okay? Good. Okay, I'm going to hand you your weights. Ready? Okay, with the weights turned out. There you go. Bring them down. Excellent. Very nice. Make sure that you are breathing. Good. Okay. Nice. Good. There you go. It's like you're pressing. Good. Perfect. Okay, now we're going to alternate. Bring this arm down. I want you to hold one down and go ahead and push that one down and push that one up. No. Come on back. Come back down. Come down with both.
Oh.
There you go. Now up with one.
Okay, it's all about cueing.
And down.
There's a little frustration going on here. Justina really doesn't know what exercise
you want to hold it. There you go.
she has to perform.
And up. This arm. Good.
This is what we go through without the proper cueing technique.
Sorry, that's okay.
Come down. Right to there. Okay. Hold this arm here.
Okay.
Up with this one.
Much better.
Good. And down. Very good. And up and down. Now this one. Good. One more.
Proper cueing, less frustration.
Excellent. You're all set. Your bridge was perfect. You stayed up a couple of times.
Okay.
Okay, take note of that. Dropping her weights.
So to demonstrate, you're going to have your feet off of the mat. Again, a little bit of a bend at the hips. And you're going to press and really press.
Hi everyone, Dave Parisi. I want you to notice the level of the ball. Do you notice it's in direct opposition of her forehead or top of the head? I'm not a fan of bringing the ball over the head, going into hyperextension, and then slamming the ball. I also like to shorten that link and support system by putting a client down on their knees and then teaching them the proper extension and flexion movements. So most of our clients that we work with in the personal training industry will not bring the ball higher than what you see now in this picture.
Slam it. Slam. Good. Nice. How are you feeling? Breathe. Done. Did you feel that?
No.
You did it? Oh my gosh. I must have you doing something wrong.
No, it's not a weak link.
Okay.
I did feel it. It was like exertion, just mostly upper body.
Okay. Good. And what we're going to do now is we're going to go into a bridge.
Okay.
Push up on your heels. And you're going to hold it. Now I know that you have some issues with your knees, so normally I would say we could do one leg, down, up, but because you have knee issues, we're not going to do that.
Okay.
Okay. But we are going to do down, up with both feet on the floor. Okay, so arms straight out, tilt the pelvis in, make sure that the knees, there you go, perfect.
Listen, you're a professional. That's why you're watching these videos. Never doubt yourself. Teri is a great trainer. Right now, she might be a little nervous, needs a little more confidence in her ability of choosing the proper exercises at the proper time. You notice that when Justina got up from slamming the ball, she goes, I really didn't feel that. The exertion was there, like doing battling ropes, running in place, jumping rope, etc. More of a glycolytic, cardiovascular, pulmonary type movement, which is awesome in between the anaerobic type program. So it's okay that she didn't feel it. Justine is an athlete, so she's well conditioned. So it's okay. Never doubt yourself. Now, notice the position she's in now. This is what I love. You went from spinal flexion, because ball slams in a kneeled position is a form of spinal flexion. The first thing that Teri did coming out of the ball slam is to immediately do the opposing muscle group, which I love, agonist, antagonist. Went right into a bridge position, which basically corrected that Lincoln support system and put her back into extension, rather than just getting up and walking away. So I give her a gold star for that one.
Knees are over your heels and down. Good, keep that pelvis tilted. Nice, go down. Slow, go slow. Good. Again. Make sure that your butt is hitting the floor, and you want to make sure that you're squeezing the butt muscles. Squeeze the glutes, okay, on the way up. Good. Nice. Perfect. 3 more. Make sure you're breathing. Squeeze up. Good. Down. Squeeze up. Down. And 1 more. Squeeze. Hold. Down. Perfect.
Awesome. Turn to the side. Turn to the side when you get up. You don't want to sit right up.
Okay.
Okay, first exercise was the ball. Okay,
The ball.
we're going to go over the transition on the ball. Teri, come on over, Teri. Teri had Justina on the ball, wanted to go down into a tabletop position. So one of the things that I want you to understand, digest, would be the verbal cues, the direction. You are an amazing trainer. You are a director of a film, of a movie. Okay? When you train a client, I want you to imagine that you're sending that client an email, trying to explain exactly what they need to do. It's over the top. I want you to stand with your feet 6 inches apart. I want you to sit down on the ball, sit in perfect posture. Very slowly take your right foot out and start maneuvering down on the ball. Do not put your hands back. I don't want you to go into extension. So you're basically telling a story, and get a little more hands-on. So the position we wanted to have her go in was to contract her abdominal wall and put pressure into the ball. Okay, start to go down and press against the ball. Again, think of your surface. If this was a carpet, sometimes the ball can slide out. So as a trainer, I'm going to show you, because I'll put you on and have you do it. But you never want to have the hands this way on the ball. They're going to arch back. So everything is here, and you start to sink. See how I slipped? Okay. So you start to sink here into that tabletop position. Your ankles are directly underneath the knee. Okay. Tabletop position. I have head and shoulder blade support. There's my base of support. None of this. You see this in a lot of the trainers I see at the facilities. The head's hanging or the hips are too low. So we want to be in that tabletop position. And you wanted her to do a chest press. Right. You wanted to alternate a little bit, put a little stimulus in the rotators, and see if you can maintain that position. Okay? And then obviously coming back out of that position and back into that upright posture. Okay? So, one of the things that I might change is the first thing I noticed. Come on over here.
And I noticed it too.
Yep. So come around, go right back onto the ball, no hands, just drop right down. Good. Walk forward, head, shoulder blade support, ankles under the knees. Okay, can you put your head on the ball? Good. That little cue. Can you put your head on the ball? Right. Of course I can. So that's some of the things we have to take notice of. Now, I would just move her down this way just a little more, because I want her to have that base of support. I don't like this angle.
I don't like that angle.
Okay? I don't like this angle here. Okay? I know some of you watching and say, well, there's nothing that wrong with that, but based on her height and everything that's going on, I just don't want this angle, so we're not activating here properly. So I'm going to have to come back off this, come back up onto the ball. Now, see if I hold the ball with you. Okay, so do that one more time. I'm actually holding the ball, no hands. I'm holding the ball, I'm setting it in place. Go right back onto your head. Yeah, head first. Hold the position, come right back up. Go ahead. So I put the ball against her, I push it into her as she's going forward, giving it a little resistance, and she could pop right up on the ball. So you might not have this, but if you have a peanut, okay, it's a little more, less forgiving, so a little more forgiving, I should say. So when you're sitting on it, a little more stability, but at least we could get in that position, okay? Or we can use a flat bench, okay? But obviously we don't have the right size ball right now, so this is where you become creative as a trainer, okay? What can we utilize? How can we create based on the way the body works? Her mechanics, everybody's different. So let's go back down into that same tabletop position. Okay, come on up. Go back just a little. No, up meaning keeping that bridge position, tabletop position, and hold. See how important the cue is? We can get very frustrated when we don't have the proper cues. Okay, so now she's in the position. What I'd like, come right on this side. Tara, what I'm looking for is a little more hands-on of approach. So I'm going to say to the client, okay, hold this in this position. Do you have it?
Yep.
Okay, take one in this hand. Do you have it?
Yep.
Okay, we've gone over the mechanics of the chest press. Remember, you always go to midline every rep.
Okay.
So I'm going to get behind here. I'm going to hold her right now for her wrists. Bend your elbows slowly. I want you to think about that peanut is the floor. That's as deep as you're going to go. Bring it back to midline and hold them for me. Now I'm going to assess her ability to hold it. Here's what happens. She's thinking here. Her hips are going to drop. 9 times out of 10, you're going to see someone's hip drop. So I'm going to say reactivate, stay in that tabletop position, tighten your glutes, tighten your abdomen, ankles right under the knees. Let's do another repetition. I'm here. Breathe in, exhale, bring it to midline. Let's do another rep. Every time you feel my hands, press back up. Okay, I feel comfortable that she could balance the load. So now I'm down here. Come on down, tap, and up. Now I'm giving her a range limiter. Okay, so it doesn't do an excessive range. I'm watching everything else. She's pretty stable. Okay, now that we're on a peanut, and we're trying to also work some of the stabilizers, let's put your ankles and knees closer together. Okay, even though we're on the peanut, I want to give it a little more challenge, so to speak. Okay, so slow on the way down, one more repetition. Breathe in, exhale. Now we're going to hold the load up, bring just one arm down. It'll hit my hand, go back to midline. Bring the opposite arm down, back to midline, versus you got a little frustrated. Okay, the communication,
right.
She was bringing it down, bringing it up, bringing it down. Which one did the left one, the right one? Right. So this helps you as a trainer just by cueing right arm down only. Good. And see what I'm doing here? Just right arm on only, bring it back to midline. Left arm, that's it, back to midline. Both arms down, tap, back to midline. Okay, both arms down. Now this is a challenge. Holding both arms down, coming up with just one to midline, because you're keeping that level of tension here. Okay, so this is a little more advanced. Okay, see the arm? What's happening? I want to get that in there. See that? Okay, so now you bring this down, you hold that position, you bring this up. So I think that's what you were trying to do.
Right.
I like the creativity, but just make sure she's in the right position. Maybe she does a couple of those. That is a little more of a demand from the anterior shoulder girdle. Okay, now the last repetition is the most important. Rather than walking away and let her come up, take the load. Stay right there, keep those hips high. Okay, slowly come back up onto the peanut, drop your hips, use your feet, sit right up, use your feet, good. So get in there and make sure that it's safety all the way to that last repetition, because she's going to get up and do another exercise.
Right.
That's all. So it's a little more hands-on, a little more tactile, a little more verbal. You know, I'm with you every single repetition. I'm right there, I'm watching everything. You know? Does that make sense? I love the transition between the tabletop position, which is extension, activating the glutes, core, holding that posture as she goes through those chest movements, trying to stabilize intersegmentally, into extension, into flexion. That was nice. Okay, so, and you also shortened the lever arm here. So you went to extension, you came here, flexion. Now, some of the frustration, first of all, being that this is the first time you ever worked out with Justina, you're demonstrative.
Correct.
But you know we don't do this. Once you learn the exercises, once you know all this, and we say ball slam on the knees, you're going to know immediately to get down here, single arm row, squat position,
right.
Okay, squat jump, etc. They go right into it, non-stop. Then we assess every single repetition, right? All right, so right now you're demoing. Okay, so normally it moves a lot quicker, and we go right into the exercises. So the first thing that being that you didn't know her, the first thing is I got this ball in my hand. It's about 10 pounds. It's rubber-like. And I have this coil recoil. I have a mat here that's going to spring it back up. So I don't know if she slams it, if it'll just hit her in the chin. And these are things that happen. This is what you have to think about as a trainer. So, you know, get a feel for the ball. Why don't you just bounce that ball once, and they might do this.
Okay.
Bounce it a little harder and catch it, and they might do that. Bounce it a little harder and catch it, and they might do that. Now you have a feel of what's going on as far as the rebound effect. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah, perfect sense.
Okay, so now they're here. Now feel your core. Now I don't want you to take the ball over your head. Okay, we don't want to go into that type of rotation.
Right.
Okay, but I want you to stay here and slam. So I love the way you're catching the ball. Nobody does that. Everybody catches the ball up here. I love how she stuck that ball here. Okay, so that force coming in, emanates in, originates in, emanates out. So it was really nice. Got that force production going. So she was here, she got used to it, and she just used her arms. And she caught it. Okay, now, all that spinal flexion, so to speak, you went right into the bridge. Perfect. Loved it. You knew about the ACL, so you stayed stable. The only thing I probably would have assessed, come on your back. The best position you could be in for the bridge is if you look at the client and you figure out where the femurs are, directly in relation to what's called the sits bones, ischial tuberosities. You want the heel in line with the sit bone. Okay? Now you could visualize this. I'm just using this just as an example. But the heels are in line with the sits bones. Okay, so we're going to remove that a minute, and then I'm going to look from the side and see where this lever is going to be. I don't want it out here,
Correct.
Obviously. So I'm going to make sure she's in a roughly 90-degree angle here. Okay? Then I'm going to explain to her quickly that this is her base of support. Arms, shoulders. I know she has the ACL, so we're going to make sure we stay as stable as we can. We could have had an adductor complex here, a yoga block, just so that the knees stay in one position. Okay, keeping your head and shoulder blades down and use your hands for that support. Can you lift your hips for me? Come on up to that bridge. Now, again, there's no such thing as full range of motion. So, first question, where do you feel this?
In my glutes, it kind of feels like my leg should come in a little more because it's a little bit in my low back, tiny bit.
Okay, bring your hips down for me. Good. What do you mean by bring your legs in more?
Just a touch.
Okay, that way. Okay, so we're going back more into that. Again, now that everything's very visual, so baggy sweats, kind of hard to see, joint angles and things. So she was correct. We'll bring that in a little bit, come back up. And we're trying to see if she's quad dominant. She feels it more in the hamstring, low back, glutes. Maybe her glutes aren't activating properly. The bottom line is we got to get her in a comfortable position. She's not excessive. She could hold that position. She's pressing right down through her ankles. Okay. Now we don't have to move the feet, but what we can do is play with different bases of support from the upper body as well. This is the very stable support mechanism here. Okay, your second phase would be just this alone because we lost the lever arm. And are you okay in this position? Yep. I'd like you to bring your hands straight up and just put them together right here. Now this is the least base of support. Now she just has her shoulder blades. So the progressions are here rather than here because of the knees. So we could play with progressions here. Okay, and I could just say, you know, give me a little squeeze here with your hands, hold that position. Okay, drop down the hips for me, all the way to the ground. Okay, come back up slowly, good. And we could do exercises like that. Okay, or if you feel more comfortable, keep it stable. Okay, but it's always cue. If you feel this in your low back, abort. Okay, come on down. And coming out, the first thing I say to a client when they come out of a bridge, I throw them professionally to the side. Okay, come on up. I never let them sit up into spinal flexion. Okay? Good.